Shadur, of course, puts on a show when he gets in front of the cameras. He's all about content. He knows what you need. I caught a cool moment at the very beginning when he would not start his podium press conference until Jerome Baker was done on an...
Imagine walking into someone else's house, cleaning out their fridge, rearranging all their furniture, and still walking away with the Wi-Fi password. That's exactly what Shadur Sanders pulled off at Brown's training camp, 949, 2 touchdowns, and not even a hint of an apology. Just when you think it couldn't get any juicier, Mary Kay Cabot steps onto the scene with a heavy dose of salty commentary. Buckle up, because this isn't just another scrimmage, it's shaping up to be a full-scale PR nightmare for Cleveland.
When everything transpired, I was out of town, so I was like, nah, the first thing I do when I get back definitely come to the community. I could tell everybody's vibe out here is down to earth. So a lot of people that didn't want me coming out here doing it, but I don't understand why.
Shadur, he's on a bit of a different track. He's right now the fourth-team quarterback. He's doing great with what he's being asked to do.
So there's no need to be in Cleveland right now.
What happens when a young quarterback strolls into Brown's training camp with the kind of swagger usually reserved for seasoned veterans, effortlessly completes every single pass, makes defensive backs look like they're shadowboxing thin air, and leaves reporters gasping for breath as if they just sprinted wind sprints alongside the team? You get Shadur Sanders, ladies and gentlemen. Or, as Mary Kay Cabot has now so eloquently dubbed him, the uninvited headache.
Forget about the lies right now. She's talking about how Shadur needs to get better. And notice she never brings up the fact that Dylan, Kenny, and Joe Flacco, maybe Joe Flacco is proven a little bit, but all three quarterbacks have a lot of favorable criticisms, far more greater than what Shadur Sanders should be getting.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you think. Let's call it like it is. Shadur rolled in and basically declared the entire Cleveland Browns storyline was getting a rewrite. And no, not some soft, polite rewrite. We're talking full-on Quentin Tarantino energy mixed with Madden 24 and a heavy dose of I'm in charge now. And Mary Kay? She's absolutely spiraling. You'd think someone just broke the news that Baker Mayfield was on his way back to town.
And the key thing to note, I thought today, was the fact that Dillon Gabriel went first in those team drills and those 7-on-7s. We knew that was going to happen because, of course, they drafted him ahead of Shadur, who they passed over 6 times in this draft.
Typically, NFL training camp reports are a bland mix of coach cliches and blind optimism. He's coming along. We're pleased with his footwork. He brings great energy. All of which is code for, we're not sure he can throw the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. But with Shadur, there was no sugarcoating required. He stepped in, went 9 for 9, tossed 2 touchdowns before half the linebackers even strapped on their helmets, and grinned like it was just another Thursday.
So I think we've all been very, very fair about Shadur, about all of these guys, really, for the most part. I don't think that that anyone's been negative about Shadur. I think what I've tried to be is very realistic about Shadur and paint the picture the way people need to see it.
Meanwhile, Mary Kay was tucked away in the corner of the media tent, scribbling in her notepad like it had personally wronged her. You could practically sense the panic bleeding through her tweets. Let's not overreact, she typed with shaky fingers as Shadur launched another deep strike down the sideline. It's only practice, she muttered under her breath while he dropped a fade so perfect the cornerback immediately questioned his life decisions.
Weeks earlier by Ohio State Highway Patrol, Medina Municipal Court records also show he failed to appear for his arraignment on Monday for the first citation, but he had paid both tickets by Friday for $269 and for $250. She had it all the way down to the dollar amount, and pretty much ever since Shadur Sanders been there, she's been highlighting everything negative about him while trying to big up Dillon Gabriel. I mean, it's as if Dillon Gabriel never got a speeding ticket in his life. I bet she wouldn't even ask Dillon Gabriel about any speeding ticket.
At this point, the Browns coaching staff is pretending they've seen this coming all along. Oh yeah, we always knew Shadur would shine. Sure, because bringing in a quarterback with college tape that looked like he was playing Madden on rookie mode was just a hunch, right? These are the same coaches who thought Deshaun Watson just needed time to settle. It's been 2 years and $1 billion. How much more settling does he need? An aromatherapy subscription? Shadur didn't just show up. He arrived with receipts, fireworks, and a PhD in silencing doubters. He looked around that camp and said, "This is it? This is the bar?" And immediately proceeded to raise it like it owed him rent money. Meanwhile, Mary Kay's coverage of training camp turned into an emotional documentary. One moment she's reminding us that it's just early reps, the next she's questioning if media hype is clouding objectivity. Objectivity? You mean like when she spent 3 seasons writing poems about how Baker's shoulder was misunderstood? Let's not ignore the real issue here. She had adjectives lined up like veteran poise and renewed focus. Then along comes this rookie, this Sanders, slinging touchdowns like they were part of the catering service.
So YouTube family, what if I told you that Mary Kay Cabot was allegedly paid to sabotage Shadur? She was allegedly paid within the Cleveland Browns organization to make the time of Shadur Sanders be the worst time in the world. Well, one of my great supporters and sources gave me a little receipt, and Mary Kay has always switch positions.
And let's not act like the NFL establishment is thrilled either. The league is allergic to swagger unless it's coming from a 38-year-old with a playoff loss and a podcast. Shadur walks in with that Sanders DNA, Dion Jr. in attitude, but with footwork cleaner than a surgeon in scrubs, and it rattles the suits. They don't want a quarterback who's actually cool. They want a robotic franchise guy who speaks in vanilla platitudes and does Subway commercials. Instead, Shadur's got TikTok charisma, locker room command, and the kind of accuracy you can't teach, which is probably why Mary Kay's trying to convince people he's still got room to grow. Room to grow? The only thing growing is the insecurity of every quarterback above him on the depth chart. Let's call it what it is. Shadur walked into Browns camp and basically lit a match under the entire quarterback room. Let's not put too much stock in shorts and helmets. Oh really? Because I remember an entire offseason where she covered OBJ catching passes in a hoodie like it was the second coming. But now that Shadur's connecting on every route, suddenly we're supposed to pretend it's just early days.
Mobile enough to run that kind of scheme.
I think my most honest answer is probably maybe, but I'm willing to find out. Sometimes he takes too many sacks. Now, some of that was on their offensive line, which was not great. They didn't have much of a running game, but he got himself into a lot of trouble too.
This is the problem with the NFL media machine. It treats pedigree like prophecy and ignores performance like it's optional. Shadur's not supposed to succeed this quickly because he wasn't drafted in the first round, didn't come from an SEC powerhouse, and worst of all, his dad didn't play boring. But all of that just adds to the comedy, because here we are, day 5 of training camp, and the Browns quarterback room looks like a before and after photo. Before Shadur, confusion, excuses, underthrows. After Shadur, precision, energy, touchdowns. And Mary Kay? Still writing her emotional goodbye letter to the old pecking order. But here's the twist, Shadur isn't just good. He's so good, he made Cleveland care again. Which is dangerous. That city hasn't had this much hope since LeBron promised he was staying the first time. Now fans are actually watching practice film like it's Game 7. Because this isn't just another camp arm, this is the future knocking on the door with a cannon for a right arm and a grin that says, "I've been here before, just not in your system." And that's what bothers people like Mary Kay. Because this isn't the script. This isn't the humble rookie arc. This is I came to take your spot and I brought receipts energy.
Basically what's going to happen here is that Shadur is going to have to keep climbing up that depth chart if he actually wants to get into the starting lineup at some point. And when the veterans are joined on Monday, when they have to get out there with Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco, of course it's going to become even harder for these.
And we haven't even touched on how Shadur's presence is exposing the Browns' offensive playbook like a magic trick with missing cards. Suddenly everyone's noticing that the routes actually look crisp when someone throws on time. That maybe it wasn't the wide receivers all along. That just maybe, the problem wasn't chemistry, it was quarterbacking. Meanwhile, Mary Kay is flipping through thesauruses, trying to find a new word for unimpressed. She's out here writing pieces about temperament and system fit like this is the NFL combined and not an actual field where Shadur is turning DBs into memes. Let's face it, this isn't journalism anymore, it's damage control. Because if Shadur keeps this up, the NFL media world is going to have to do the unthinkable, admit they were wrong. So maybe the better question is, how will the defense handle him? We're watching the NFL machine malfunction in real time. A player who didn't come through their preferred pipeline is outperforming every expectation, and the only response they've got is skepticism dipped in condescension. But Shadur doesn't need their approval. He doesn't need their headlines. He's writing his own chapter in a playbook that was never meant to include him. And that, more than anything, is what's got Mary Kay tapping her keyboard like it just insulted her family.
See, she started off saying that she loves Shadur Sanders. You don't believe me?
I'm putting on my GM cap today, and I'm going to make a trade. I'm taking Shadur at number 2. I'm going to do the obvious right thing there. I'm going to take Shadur, and I'm going to roll with it and see how it goes. But then I'm trading back into the end of the first round with my second round pick and some other things, and I'm taking Tyler Shuck. I'm taking 2 quarterbacks in the first round. If Shadur, for whatever reason, isn't exactly what you thought he was going to be, then you have someone else.
The truth is simple. The Browns accidentally stumbled into a quarterback who might actually be good. Not promising. Not raw talent. Actually good. And it's throwing their whole identity crisis into overdrive. Suddenly they have hope, which they don't know how to manage. It's like giving a raccoon a Rolex. Sure, it's shiny, but does anyone really know what to do with it? And if you think this will blow over, think again. Because every practice Shadur nails, every throw he completes, and every eyebrow he raises with that, "Yeah, I am that guy" look, is another reminder that maybe, just maybe, Cleveland doesn't need to wait 5 more years to be competitive. Maybe they already had the answer, and it didn't come from a $230 million experiment or a desperate Hail Mary from the front office. It came from a Sanders. And not just any Sanders, a quarterback who's making even the doubters sit up straight. So yeah, Mary Kay's hating. Too bad for them. This new chapter? It's not being ghost-ridden by old narratives. It's being thrown, laser style, by Shadur Sanders. And guess what? He's just getting warmed up.
Right now, the rookies again report on Friday.
You know, God told me come out here, so I'm never gonna question His word.
Shadur doing what you would expect a quarterback to do during the break, and that is working on your game. And I'm sure wherever Dylan is, that's what he's doing.
Even before that, so that was just something I generally do and what I find fun. There's a lot of negativity, it's a lot of talk going on in the world. So then that's where I find my peace, my happiness, my joy. Is be able to have positive influence.
And just when you thought Mary Kay might finally take a breath and give Shadur his flowers, like a professional journalist covering a training camp phenom, she doubles down with the oldest NFL media move in the book, the "let's see it in the regular season" card. Ah yes, the emergency eject button of all haters. Because clearly, going 9-4-9 in camp, torching defenders, and throwing 2 TDs wasn't enough for the queen of qualifications. She wants blood, tears, and a playoff berth before she'll admit the kid's got talent. It's comical. This is the same fanbase that declared Brandon Weeden the future and tried to manifest a statue for Baker off one playoff win. But now you want measured takes? Please. Meanwhile, Shadur's out here playing chess while the rest of the QB room is still trying to set up the board. He's not just making throws, he's diagnosing coverages, manipulating safeties with his eyes, and walking like he already knows the punchline. He's not trying to prove anything. He's just being himself, and that alone is making the establishment sweat like it's August in a dome with no AC.
Here comes the Mary Kay. I don't know how that alleged tweaker got a job with a professional organization. Forget about football. It could have been IHOP. I wouldn't eat food over there with an alleged tweaker like that.
And hey, don't let the smile fool you. Behind that calm swagger is a quarterback who knows exactly what's happening. He knows Mary Kay's watching. He knows the NFL machine would rather crown someone else. And he knows every perfect pass is another nail in the coffin of every tired talking point they've used to keep players like him on the sideline. The problem for Mary Kay, and everyone else, is that this train has already left the station. The Sanders era is coming whether they write it into their preseason narratives or not. And the more they resist, the more ridiculous they look. The kid's not just proving he belongs, he's proving they were never ready. And no matter how many let's wait and see columns she pens, the truth is obvious, Shadur's not coming, he's already here. And the NFL? Well, they better buckle up. Because if this is how he warms up, the league's in for a show, and Mary Kay's going to need a lot more ink for all those revisions. XVCX.